#1 sa Mega Manila, nationwide pa! Broadcasting from TGON, TVH Group of Networks. Dito lang sa inyong iisang himpilan. You are listening to Cool FM. Live from Cool Studios. This is Cool News at 6.
Good evening and welcome to koolNews at 6. I'm Pat. Alice Guo and 35 other people tagged in illegal offshore gaming operations were sued for 87 counts of money laundering before the Department of Justice. The Anti-Money Laundering Council, Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, and National Bureau of Investigation filed the complaints on Friday, according to DOJ Undersecretary Jesse Andres. Aside from Guo, the named respondents in the complaint sheet included the ousted Mayor's supposed sister Sheila Guo, Cassandra Leong, and alleged incorporator of Philippine offshore gaming operator Dennis Cunanan, who allegedly transacted for Pogo, and directors and shareholders of Pogos and companies linked to Pogos where the alleged laundered money amounting to 7 billion pesos passed through. In the press conference, Andres said, as you know, the filing of the money laundering offense takes deep study and investigation. That's why it is only now that we are able to launch the case of money laundering. There is an extensive financial investigation behind this effort. And now that the AMLC has completed, and in coordination with the DOJ and the other relevant agencies, we believe we have a very strong and airtight case of money laundering, Andres said, or Andres added. Guo was the alleged principal of the money laundering scheme, as she supposedly used several entities into transferring her money, said DOJ Interagency Council Against Trafficking prosecutor Benjamin Samson. Samson said this filing is just the first among other money laundering complaints they intend to file against the Guos, Ong Cunanan, and others. 3 out of 7 suspects in a robbery incident in Bulacan are active cops, the Philippine National Police said on Friday. PNP spokesperson Juan Farjado confirmed that these 3 policemen are now under restricted custody and will face criminal and administrative charges. The rest are still at large, and it is yet to be determined if they are cops or civilians, according to Farjado. Central Police Luzon Director Police Brigadier General Jose Hidalgo said the 7 individuals were involved in a robbery in Balagtas Town last August 28. Farjado said one of the policemen may have personally known the victim. One of the 3 policemen knew the victim, and possibly he is the mastermind in the robbery, she said in the press briefing. Hidalgo wrote through an impartial probe to uncover the full truth. Rest assured there will be no cover-ups, Hidalgo said. If found guilty, those responsible will be held accountable and face the full consequences of their actions. This incident has once again cast a shadow over our police force and undermining the trust we have diligently worked to build with the public, he added. When Worldwind Corporation stakeholder Cassandra Leong asked for advice and expressed her fears during their conversation before the court committee hearings, Santa Rosa City Representative Dan Fernandez said on Friday. Fernandez, in an online interview with reporters covering the House of Representatives, said that Ong called him up when she was required to attend the joint hearing of the Committee on Games and Amusements and the Committee on Public Order and Safety regarding Philippine offshore gaming operator Pogo Hubs. The Public Order and Safety panel that Fernandez had eventually was named as one of the 4 components of the Quad Committee. It was her who reached out. I was actually shocked when she texted, as I did not know how she got my number. But I did not bother asking her because, of course, all of us, we do not know who has our contact details. So I just decided that maybe a common friend or something like that gave it, Fernandez said. Yes, Fernandez asked if Ong was seeking advice because I think she was really scared. Then she said, Kong, how can you help me? So I still remember telling her, for us to help you, attend the hearings, be truthful, tell everything you know, and who knows, the whole government will help you. According to Fernandez, the Quad Committee made a suffer stance against Ong, withdrawing the second contempt order that would have had Ong detained at the Correctional Institute for Women in Mandaluyong City. Although I think the check and bank accounts she holds were only named after her, but she is not the one issuing it. Maybe that's what she did to Ronin Paternatu that after running Baterna signs on the JQ, she would give it to Caspi Ong, Fernandez said. Most likely that's what she did, issuing it, and then after signing the JQ, she would no longer place her name there. Because that's two things, she may be lying or telling the truth, or she is balancing what she can bargain with the government. Those are the things that we have to balance. That's why we became softer towards her, because suddenly she was cooperative. But if she wasn't, she would have been jailed already in Mandaluyong, he noted. During a later part of the grueling 30-hour Quad Committee hearing last Wednesday, Anti-Policy District Representative Romeo Acop teased Ong for supposedly having preferential treatment towards dashing lawmakers. Acop expressed confusion as to why Ong refused to answer questions from Pataga 2nd District Representative Garfield Listro, but it responded immediately to one right party list Representative Ramon Rodrigo Gutierrez and Santa Rosa City Representative Dan Fernandez. In response, Ong said she really did not want to give answers, but the advice of her lawyer further than Topacio to respond to the inquiries just conceded with the two lawmakers mentioned. Before this exchange, Alcop also asked Ong if she was able to discuss issues with Fernandez ahead of the court committee hearing, saying that it seems the latter knows more than the rest of the panel's members. Ong said that she exchanged messages and even had a phone call with Fernandez. Once only, text and phone call once lang po, Ong admitted. Ong initially refused to answer questions from lawmakers, saying that she was invoking her right against self-incrimination. Eventually, Ong changed her answers, replying with a more direct, "I refuse to testify," prompting Manila 6th District Representative Bienvenido Ampate Jr. to make the motion. But Ong's tone changed as she started to answer questions during Gutierrez's turn to interpellate. Gutierrez, who was one of the few lawmakers who got Vice President Sara Duterte to speak during the deliberations for the office of the Vice President, proposed budget for 2025, managed to get confirmation that Ong worked for both Whirlwind Corporation and Lucky Soul 99. Whirlwind Corporation, with all holds a 58% stake, is the company that leased land in Paulac, Pampanga to Lucky Soul 99, which then set up a Philippine offshore gaming operator Poco Hub. There were hunches from lawmakers that Whirlwind and Lucky Soul 99 were interconnected. I believe that was confirmed when Ong answered Gutierrez in Gutierrez queries. The Philippines and Vietnam are expected to sign a defense cooperation agreement soon, the palace announced Friday. According to the Presidential Communications Office (PCO), this development came after Vietnam Minister of National Defense Van Ang paid a cordial visit to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. in Malacanan on Friday, August 30. The PCO explained that the agreements can help build the momentum for cooperation between the defense and military sectors of the two countries. Pahan's visit to the Philippines will further enhance the ties between the two nations with the signing of the Defense Cooperation Agreement between Manila and Hanoi, Defense Secretary Gilberto Del Toro Jr. said, according to the PCO's statement. Marcos earlier said that Pahan's visit to the country is a further impetus to increase the depth and the range of the Philippines' relationship with Vietnam. Whereas before comprised only of our diplomatic connection, we now talk about defense cooperation, security cooperation, maritime cooperation, and certainly on this area of trade as well, said Marcos in welcoming Pihan to the palace. The defense pact between Manila and Hanoi comes amid an ongoing dispute between claimant countries and China, which asserts ownership over nearly the entire South China Sea through its 10-formerly 9-line. Earlier this month, Manila and Hanoi completed their initial joint maritime drills, the first time the Philippines held one with another claimant country. And coming up on koolNews at 6, don't act like entitled brat. That's an advice to Sara Duterte on her budget. No order, no dictation. Fernandez asserts Quad panel's autonomy in hearings. Philippines' first net zero home launches in Quezon City, which is billion bricks. Half of Cupo's KGC compound inspected, search for hideout narrows. And in showbiz happenings, Sam Smith and TGON released their new edition of I Am Not the Only One. It is now 6:10 in the evening, and koolNews at 6 will be right back. Welcome back to koolNews at 6. In deliberations on the budget of the office of the Vice President, Congress has always heeded what many politicians describe as parliamentary courtesy or the practice of letting the office of the Vice President budget sail smoothly. But while such practice prevailed over OVP budget deliberations under previous vice presidents, it seemed to be absent in the case of Vice President Sara Duterte, who is being questioned on how it was possible for her office to spend 125 million pesos in confidential funds in just 11 days. So when Sara Duterte was elected as Vice President in 2022, the House Committee on Appropriations took only 5 minutes to pass her 2.3 billion pesos budget. Last year, her proposed 2.4 billion peso budget was approved in just 50 minutes. This was not unusual though, as previous OVP budgets under past vice presidents also benefited from parliamentary courtesy. Then, Vice President Leni Robredo's budget proposal for the OVP was approved in a few minutes, with her budget in 2017 being passed in just 2 minutes. The longest it took the House to pass her budget was less than 30 minutes. She was serving as second in line to then President Rodrigo Duterte, who was generally hostile to her. During the time of Jamar Binay, who was Vice President of then President President Noynoy Aquino, deliberations on the OVP budget took only minutes. In 2014, Congress passed its proposed 222 million peso budget for 2015 in just 5 minutes. In a radio interview last year, Marikina Representative Stella Quimbo explained that it had been a long-standing tradition of the House to extend parliamentary courtesy to the Vice President in budget deliberations. "We don't want to harass the President as well as the Vice President," she had said then. This practice shields the two highest officials of the land from tough questions. This year, however, was different. It seemed that parliamentary courtesy had flown out the window. When Sara Duterte went to the House to present her 2.04 billion peso proposed budget, deliberations did not end in minutes or even an hour, as close to 20 lawmakers drilled her over the 125 million pesos in confidential funds that the OVP spent in just 11 days in 2022. The briefing lasted for 5 hours, but Zambales Representative Jefferson Quezon Kun eventually called for deferment of deliberations to September 10, as Sara Duterte repeatedly declined to directly respond to most of the concerns raised. For Maria Ela Atienza, a professor of political science at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, the House was conscious of how the public reacted to Duterte's confidential funds in 2022 and her request for 500 million pesos more for 2024. While Duterte eventually dropped her bid for 500 million pesos worth of confidential funds, the backlash was so loud that lawmakers have decided to quiz her over the secret funds that the OVP had received since 2022. Likewise, Atienza pointed out that in the budget deliberations on Tuesday, August 27, Duterte conducted herself in an uncooperative, disrespectful, and insulting manner. This, as Duterte requested a change in the presiding officer of the committee, directly challenging Quimbo, who had defended the right of Representative Franz Castro, Representative ACT teachers, which had been red tagged by Duterte, to question the current vice president. Duterte, instead of replying to questions about her use of secret funds, raised the conviction for child abuse of Castro in a case that involved the rescue of Luma children caught in the crossfire of military operations against communist rebels in Talangud, Davao del Norte in 2018. Castro, in response to Duterte, said the vice president was diverting the issue away from her spending patterns. Unlike Roberto, who conducted herself with dignity and diplomacy, even when clearly identified with the opposition, Duterte was combative and disrespectful of a co-equal branch of government, Atienza to Inquirer.net. Throughout the interpellation, even when questions were not about confidential funds, which Duterte said was no longer related to her budget request for 2025, she only had this to say, "I would like to forego the opportunity to defend the budget in a question and answer format. I will leave it up to the House to decide on the budget submitted." This even when Quimbo reminded her that the discussions are important. Duterte, on the issue of confidential funds, including questions on the notice of disallowance issued by the Commission on Audit to the OVP regarding the disbursement of secret funds in 2022, responded with this: On the issue of confidential funds, we have received audit actions from COA regarding the confidential funds of the OVP. We have submitted our responses and we assure the public of our full cooperation with the ongoing audit. She likewise pointed out that she was invited to the deliberations for the OVP's proposed 2025 budget, insisting that discussions should be germane to the pop topic. This is a hearing of the budget of 2025. Where is the confidential funds here? But Queen Bo said that it falls squarely within our discussion of the 2025 budget. She stressed that in the invitation sent to the OVP, comparative budget allocation and utilization rate from 2019 to 2023 was listed as one of the topics to be discussed in the deliberations. Quimbo likewise explained that while the OVP's confidential funds had been intensively debated last year, we asked the COA to complete the audit by November, and since then we no longer know what happened. That is the reason why we are discussing it now, Quimbo said. As pointed out by Atienza, Duterte had a prepared script, daring members of the House to attack her and prepared to paint herself as a victim. Clearly, she is not used to being questioned and held accountable. She tried to exert her power, and when she could not get her way, she appeared like a talutelant and brat. Perhaps this is because in Davao City, very few dare to question the Duterte family, she said. Atienza replied to Duterte that she is now a national official. She cannot dictate people around her, especially now that the union team is no more, she said, referring to Duterte and President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s tandem in the 2022 elections. The budget deliberations, Atienza said, was a good reminder to everyone that no one is above the law, and anyone who holds a public position and in charge of public funds should explain why and how they plan to use the funds they are asking for. She needs to answer properly and respectfully, not only to respect the legislature, which is a co-equal branch, but also to bring dignity to her own office. She is the second highest official of the country and should be subject to scrutiny, Atienza said. She pointed out, however, that whether allies or not, there is a need to scrutinize and ask questions. Congress has the power and duty to scrutinize proposed budgets and demand accountability from everyone, including themselves. This as in the past 2 years, Duterte was still part of the unity with Marcos. Now, Atienza said she and her family have openly broken up with the Marcoses and the administration. She added that the Dutertes have publicly attacked the president, while the vice president has attacked the House Speaker, who is also the cousin of the president. As we have seen in Philippine politics, we have very weak political parties and legislators, especially in the House, mostly allied themselves with the sitting president regardless of the party they ran under the last election, she said. Santa Rosa City Representative Dan Fernandez has clarified that there was no order from any ranking officials to launch the Quad Committee hearings or recruit personalities to speak against certain individuals. He noted that the House of Representatives leadership cannot dictate the movements of the committees. In an online interview on Friday, Fernandez was asked about Senator Ronald De La Rosa's claim that high-ranking officials are directing the Quad Committee as part of the supposed game plan to discredit the past administration's anti-drug campaign. According to Fernandez, not even the House leadership under Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez can order them to do something, adding that he would not allow himself to be used for any political purpose. We will save the last few later, since we are running out of time, but we will try. The Quezon City Government and Sustainable Housing startup Billion Bricks unveiled the country's first net zero home on Wednesday as part of efforts to promote affordable and sustainable housing solutions. Mayor Joy Belmonte witnessed the unveiling of the first net zero home, dubbed Sina Net Zero Model House, at the Billion Bricks Experience Center in Barangay Bagong Silangan. The Philippine National Police has inspected about half of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ 30-hectare compound in Davao City as the search for fugitive televangelist Pastor Apollo Kibuloy approached the 7th day, according to spokesperson Colonel Juan Farjado. Farjado said this was according to Davao Police Regional Police Director, Brigadier General Nicolas Torre III. According to him, Torre, more or less around close to 40 or to 50% of the compound were inspected, Farjado said in a press conference. Farjado noted that the police are zeroing in on the specific areas of the suspected underground facility where Kibuloy is believed to be hiding. We are looking at the underground facility made out of thick stones, thick metals, Fajardo said. She noted that the underground facility was built and made to withstand any man-made calamity or even natural-made disasters. We have specific areas, but I hope you understand that we could not give these specific areas so as not to telegraph our moves, she said. And finally, in showbiz happening, Sam Smith released a new version of his smash hit title, I'm Not the Only One, featuring K-pop star TGON as a project for the 10th anniversary of his debut album. His label said Thursday, August 29. UMG said Smith launched the collaboration project with Taeyeon out of gratitude for the continued love from his fans from South Korea. Taeyeon also said she is tremendously happy to participate in the project, and it is a great honor to share talent and passion for music with Smith. So, to heads up here, I Am Not the Only One is a track on the British pop star's debut album In the Lonely Hour, which was released in 2014. So that's already 10 years ago. And that is it for koolNews at 6. As always, you can get in touch with us at tvhphilippines.news@gmail.com. Until then, I'm Carlo, and we will see you later for more news headlines with koolNews Prime Time at 9. Good evening.